What's up, guys? Tasis and Artosis back here at the Casting Archon here at MLG, and we've been seeing so many exciting games. I can't wait to go to this one, Artosis.
Oh yeah, man. We're going to see who Huck will be fighting next. Who could it be? Well, we will see. But first, let's get a little interview from JP. JP, take it away.
Well, first off, let's go ahead and introduce these two players. Over here on my left, I do have oGsTheSC. Go ahead and come on up. Now, you're going up against an MLG champion. Are you at all nervous right now?
Bomber is strong, so I'm some nervous, but I'm confident.
All right, well, good luck in your match. And now let's introduce a past MLG champion. It's going to be STBomber. Bomber, you've won an MLG before. Are you going to do it again?
Do you remember MLG Rory? It's another bumpy time.
All right, guys. Well, go ahead and shake hands, get into your booths. Good luck in your match, and let's kick it back to Nick and Dan over at the caster desk.
Oh, these guys are both so good. You know, Bomber is so established, not just, you know, with a record of accomplishment, but just if you look in his games, the way he plays is insane.
Yeah, he's got some pretty good macro, Tasteless. He gets a lot of units, believe it or not. I think he's definitely going to be a favorite here. Obviously, he's won an MLG already. The STC, though, is playing very well in this tournament.
He is actually using the right builds in the right order against the right players.
He is that.
He is actually really impressive. You can see this is somebody who puts a lot of thought into how he is going to execute his strategies. And I'm interested to see what he has in store for Bomber.
Absolutely. You know, I think we're going to see a lot of Marine tank from the STC. That is his preferred way to play. But his early game yesterday was, in TVT at least, a little bit weaker than his later game. A lot of times he got behind early on and then fought back to eventually win the game, whereas Bomber seems like he's just strong the entire time.
Yeah. Bomber, I guess if I had to make a prediction, Bomber should win, but, you know, STC could win. We'll see what's going to happen as the countdown is now started and the game is loading. Bomber against STC. Two very accomplished Koreans, very intimidating. Bomber so confident probably since he's already won an MLG before. And now we're on to the game. So let's introduce the players. Over here in the bottom left, we have our blue Terran. Give it up for STC. And in the upper right starting location on the map, Antigua Shipyard, one of the most intimidating players to watch play. Give it up for Bomber. And we have a pause request here. Do you have the admin ability, Artosis? Well, we'll see. If they need to pause, they can. Order spectator. We'll get this sorted out in a second. We may need to get a ref into his booth to give him permission for that. And
there
now it's been paused. All right.
All right, we'll just get that fixed real quick.
Yeah, just a problem with this headset. This will be resolved shortly, so just sit tight, guys. Obviously, sound very important when you're playing StarCraft 2. You know, and it does notify you when your forces are under attack, and you know, upgrades are complete, and everything like that. Very
easy fix, though. If the headset isn't on your head, as we just saw in the player cam, you take it off the desk and then put it on your head.
Yes. That's how you do it. We are headset experts. You know that, Artosis?
I actually know all about this, Tasis.
Most of the people that see us on TV only see us in headsets.
That's true, and guess what, guys? I don't wear that to the studio. I actually put it on right before the cast.
All right, so they're in faraway spots here, as they will always be on a map like Antigua Shipyard, the MLG version. That is how they have spread out the starting locations. Far positions, MLG believing, and I agree, making for better games.
Oh, they're right, Tasos, absolutely. Now, we do have a gas first build for Bomber, which is really cool because that means he's probably going to go Banshee, and as I've said 1,000 million billion times if you watch me cast Bomber, which is quite often because he's always playing, because he always gets deep in tournaments, he loves Banshee, and he is so good at transitioning with them.
Yeah, he is probably the best Banshee user I've ever seen, and also so consistent with that. I think the rest of us play much less consistent, but other than his macro, I guess, he's always getting so much stuff.
Well, we do have a command center first from the STC. And these are two very, very different builds. One is going to be tech heavy, the other very economy heavy. And a lot of it, if it is going to be a cloaked Banshee build, a lot of it will come down to, will he have an engineering base? Sometimes we do see Terrans just kind of guess and make a couple turrets, and if you do that, it gets you way ahead.
Yeah, it does. Unless, of course, there's no threat coming, then it can be a mistake. So, whoa. This is interesting. Looks like he's probably going to scout with his factory over here.
Probably make a tech lab as well. Proxy Banshee, you get those Banshees, they are oh so much quicker, and that can really mess up the timing of your opponent. You know, these pro gamers, they know exactly when everything's going to come out.
Yeah.
And if it comes a little bit sooner, they're going to be caught off guard. They're going to be like, oh my god, I normally have 5 Marines right now, I only have 3. What's going on?
All right, so we will have the double barracks over here completing soon. Gas is not yet taken by the STC. Now, it is possible to hold this off with the multitude of Marines that you're going to have with a build like this, but you're going to lose a lot, and if you're not controlling that right, that's when they start to hit the SCVs. Really, it's okay to lose Marines in a Banshee rush. It's the SCVs that you cannot afford to lose.
That is quite right. In the meantime, Bomber is making a command center at home, so he is in no way all-inning here. And in fact, he never did get a second gas, so it's just going to be cloakless Banshee. And with only 2 barracks, he might be able to kill off a lot of Marines with it.
Yeah, you know, unlike when we see Marine King play, with the Marine King, it's always such a large number of barracks. Actually, I'm sorry, I spoke too soon. He made 2 more barracks now down here.
Yep, just a little bit later. Does continue to pump Marines out of his first 2. A single Banshee is on the way. And Bomber adding another barracks. So both these players are looking like they want to go for Marine and tank builds.
Yeah. And with the Banshee almost out, this is where this game is really going to pick up. You can see it's rallied over to this location over here. He wants to just start firing down SCVs. And again, this will all come down to control from both sides.
Well, right now we see that factory is going to come back. We have the Phantom factory sitting there holding its spot. And the STC doesn't have an engineering bay. We'll have to see if he throws one up. He can't really be sure that his opponent is not getting cloaked. But here we go. The Banshee coming in now. Killing off a couple SCVs already. Some Marines just walking up, getting in line to be shot. Nice micro so far by the STC. Already getting 5 kills.
Yeah, he's doing a great job kiting this Banshee here. And taking out the only 2 Marines that came to save the day.
And in fact, the rest of his Marines, Tasis, are walking around to flank the Starport and the Banshee. Very clever move here, and
surprise!
He will catch it.
Before you pointed that out, Artoso, I was sitting there saying, where the hell are all his Marines?
Yeah.
He had 4 barracks. Should he have more than that? But
well, that means that this Starport not going to be able to be used anymore by Bomber. It's going to be very tricky to get it out of there. It's going to take a while. And no more Banshees as well. So the STC has actually held this rush beautifully, and the SCV count's very similar.
The orbital now coming over here to land this expansion. We have 2 bunkers coming up here. He wants to be safe. Bomber recognizing that he's behind and responding appropriately by getting the necessary defense to hold this off, if anything does come his way.
That is right. You know, one interesting thing is the STC got 2 tech labs right away to get stim and combat shields. He is not messing around, Tasis. He wants to get these Marines very well upgraded. And the next interesting thing we're going to see is, well, we do have a little push coming, but other than that, when will each player get the 3rd base? That is what's going to be important here.
Yeah, it's going to be tough right now for Bomber. He's basically contained these Marines down here guarding this entrance over here so that all of Bomber's units over here just can't get out.
Well, that Starport somehow still alive, flying across the base of the STC, sees that he himself is getting his Starport up with some medevacs, and that's going to give the STC a little head start. You know, he is going to be ahead because of this. Walking around with Marines that have medevacs healing them up, having stim, having combat shields, is going to put him in a great place where he can actually have complete map dominance, and Bomber's going to have to sit behind those bunkers.
Refinery almost complete now. More and more Marines on the way here. And take a look here, Artosis. We got a command center coming up here, so it looks like it will be the STC taking a 3rd expansion before Bomber.
And that's exactly what he has to do. You know, he's going to have all these upgrades. He's going to have the medevacs. And there's no way for Bomber to really come across such a long map and kill him yet. So great timing there by the STC. And Bomber's going to want to do that as well. You know, he should actually be starting one. He should look at this and say, okay, you're going to have those medevacs out. It's going to be hard for me to attack right now. And therefore, I should go ahead and get a command center. As you can't really attack me, I have bunkers.
Now, bunkers are great, but with medevacs out, he can just pick up and land over in this region over here. And there's really not a whole lot that Bomber can do unless Bomber prepares correctly. Uh-oh. Looks like Bomber knows the timing for this, so actually he's already moving over here. This is actually how good Bomber is.
That's it, man.
This
He's
is actually
pretty darn good.
Literally, Bomber's like, I think at this exact moment at 11 minutes and 3 seconds, he can
and
actually
oh my god, if he can stem and target these down. Not going after the medevacs, just going after the Marines, but will take out the medevacs as well. There you go. Nice move there by Bomber. The STC still has some units left, but with the medevac, with more Marines rallying in, the STC's drop will be cleaned up, and Bomber looks to take a little bit of a lead.
I could not actually believe the timing that he had down on that.
Yeah.
That was like literally down to the exact second. He knows when the possibility, not even the inevitability of that happening.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Bomber is making his command center now for his third base. 2 factories already up for siege tank production for the STC, whereas the second factory just being built now by Bomber. Looks like it's going to be a very standard Marine siege tank game with a lot of positional wars.
All right, so we have the Marines here controlling the Zelnaga Tower, allowing him to have more vision of this area. The Zelnaga Tower not as important on this map, but actually in this situation, very helpful. Now, I think both players actually not entirely sure how many units the opposing side has. And obviously, for whatever reason, it's actually even out despite that drop being denied, at least as far as supply goes. So nobody wants to have any screw-ups coming up here.
Well, a couple eBays going up. We do have a sensor tower up as well. And it looks like the game is going to be kind of passive right now. You know, both of them can get those third bases so easily. And when that siege tank number starts getting really large, we're definitely going to see a little war over the watchtower. If you can hold that watchtower, you can take the gold, you can expand behind it, you have the high ground advantage. It's a very important area on the map.
All right, we have a drop coming up here for both players. And this drop is going to go right into a turret. And actually, it's possible for the STC to unload. Okay, exactly. He's going to unload over here.
Oh, the STC going to catch these medevacs, and that is terrible for Bomber. Looks like he's going to lose both.
You know, the STC, whenever Bomber has entered his territory, the STC has actually handled this like A-plus perfect, taking the bare minimum amount of losses. The style in which he handles it is one that even the highest level player would have a hard time dealing with.
It is the home turf advantage, Tasis, no doubt about it. We do have the STC moving out across the map. Already has 4 siege tanks with his army. Tons of Marines rallying as well. He has that +2 infantry attack on the way, as well as +1 for his siege tanks. In the meantime, Bomber in a more defensive pose, but the STC might be able to get a nice little contain up right now.
He's got to be careful walking into siege tanks right now. Now being chased down by Bomber's Marines. Meanwhile, attacking these tanks over here. Both guys taking heavy hits against each other.
And, you know, the STC actually had that drop waiting up there for a flank, but didn't quite hit the flank timing just right. If he had hit everything going in at once, that may have turned out just slightly differently.
All right, the STC is going to have to find another angle of approach, and that angle is destroying the destructible rocks over here, giving him access to this region. It looks like Bomber's not reading the situation right, predicting that perhaps his opponent's going to be moving towards him in with an empty medevac.
Oh, he knows there's a sensor
worked.
tower.
He actually used a sensor tower against Bomber.
Beautiful move by the STC. Such a clever player going over that. Oh, my God, taking out the third base of Bomber. What great tactics shown so far by the STC.
Smart.
Yeah, no way, man.
Let's go over that one more time, because I know most of our audience gets it, but this is one of the more impressive plays. The sensor tower allowing you to see if something's flying into your territory. He just sends an empty one over there and then attacks from the other side where Bomber can't see what's actually coming at him.
Just a beautiful move. Now Bomber taking a strong position in the middle of the map. If he can kill off the STC's army, that would be absolutely huge. In fact, looks like he wants to try it, and Bomber has a ton of Marines here. Looks like he'll be able to break through here easily.
Bomber Actually, with a 2-2 here to STC's 0-2. Okay, I was wondering why that was so one-sided. He just melted the STC's army.
He did indeed.
Tanks out of position.
Oh, you got to be careful with that. Losing 2, losing 3, and 4 siege tanks do go down. Wow, the STC is just such a technical player. Even though Bomber's macro is keeping right up despite having less bases, and he's upgrading a bit better, the STC is actually outsmarting Bomber in every way.
Yeah, the STC showing that he is a very worthy opponent. Going into this match, I honestly don't know who's going to win this right now. Bomber, as Artosa said perfectly, Bomber's keeping up, but STC is definitely outplaying him right now.
Yeah, that's quite true. Their supplies do continue to rise. We do have the 3rd command center for Bomber just finishing up now, so he can finally retake that expansion, but the STC going to be taking a gold while keeping the pressure on.
This may be the moment when we begin to see Bomber start to sand into quicksand, as this gold base is slowly going to get him deeper and deeper to an economic deficit.
That's a lot of siege tanks. Bomber stimming and running right in. Does he have enough here? It looks like no, he does not. Just enough for the STC to hold on.
Wow, all Marines were basically killed off. They're sitting some SCVs over here, but Marines in the back able to defend.
Wow, the STC, Tasteless, an unlikely hero, but he is playing as such against Bomber. He's now up by 70 supply.
And that all happened in the course of 5 seconds.
Yeah, this is absolutely amazing play by the STC. Just more and more units rallying up. He just has so much. I don't know if Bomber is going to be alive much longer.
Taking out the siege tanks here and then running for it. I do believe, yeah, Bomber may have to GG very soon here. No way he will hold this position whatsoever.
Bomber just continuing to flow in with his Marines. His upgrades just really winning the Marine battle, but with so many siege tanks left, it's hard to see Bomber actually getting anything done. Wow, those 2 Marines attacking the expansion, Tasteless, the most cared for ever. 8 medevacs for 2 Marines.
I know. Lucky Marines indeed. We have right now, I'm going to be blunt. There's just no way I could see Bomber winning this right now. The gold is taken. He's going to expand again. Bomber is up against the ropes. He has been rocked, and I don't see him coming back into this anytime soon.
A lot more Marines coming up here right now. The SCVs all being pulled. All he has to do is run back to the siege tanks just a bit, and they will take care of absolutely everything for him. We should be seeing GG in just a moment.
GG.
Well, wow, Tasteless. I am actually really impressed with the STC. He's playing so smartly. That one medevac move, seeing the sensor tower and saying, okay, you're going to send units inside, and that's going to allow me to do a counterattack on your 3rd. Just a brilliant move by the STC.
It was really something else. Honestly, I would have thought we would have seen Bomber playing more like STC, but instead he managed to outdo him. We'll be back with game number 2 in just a little bit.